Do you guys remember when Brendan Schaub released his first comedy special on Showtime? And after it went on to become the lowest rated comedy special in the history of IMDb, he had his CBD sponsor send out a mass email offering a 50% discount coupon to anyone who left a positive review of his comedy special. Well, the owner of that company just filed a $1 million lawsuit against Brendan involving tax fraud, conspiracy, and Russian oligarchs who founded a tech startup cult out of an abandoned church in San Francisco. So let's get into this lawsuit. After being introduced to Brendan in late 2018 by Aubrey Marcus, the CEO of Onnit, Rogan's supplement company, the owner of Pure Spectrum CBD, Brady Bell, would exchange 10% of his equity in the company to Brendan Schaub in a promotional partnership deal that was actually pretty reasonable. On top of his 10% stake in the company, Schaub will get $10,000 a month, 35% commission from sales using his affiliate code, as well as 35% in perpetuity from any repeat customer Brendan brought to the site. This would net him $375,000 over a 10-month period. But in spite of this, Brendan would still fail to meet the most simple contractual obligations. He only had to make 2 social media posts a month, and he still couldn't even do this. When confronted about his breach of contract, Brendan starts lying and making excuses. "What's up, boss? Spoke to Lex. I'm in a tough spot, man. When we got into this, we had an agreement and I was assuming I was making a certain amount, which I wasn't. I never agreed to a straight rev share deal in my life, for these exact reasons. The amount of posting and podcast reads I've done for Pure Spectrum in any other circumstance is a 7-figure deal for me. I'm not sure where to go from here. There's only so many posts I can do or audio reads due to restrictions from YouTube." Now this is a straight up lie. There's no restriction at all for how many ad reads you can put in your video. The Nelk Boys just released a 20-minute video with 5 ad reads, making up almost half of the runtime. But the real issue came when Brendan got them to offer a discount for positive reviews of his special, which got the company in trouble with both IMDb and Showtime. So, with my special coming out, it brings out new reason for haters to jump on me. Well, it been brought to my attention these idiots created a campaign to shit on the special, and they're creating fake account, and are leaving awful reviews, and 1-star reviews on IMDb. Spoke with IMDb. They said the same thing happened to Amy Schumer and Kevin Hart. We can't shut this smear campaign down, even though it's just on IMDb, but still, I hate feeling like these fucking schmucks are winning. He then asks them if he can use the Spectrum email list, and tells them to keep an eye out on the reviews for him, because he can't look at that stuff, man. But when his grand plan to beat the trolls started to backfire, he tried to pass the blame along to the CEO. Yikes, email plan backfired, my man. Showtime just called me, not happy. Said we can't pay for positive reviews in any facet. Def don't send or respond anymore. I had to tell them that you guys were just trying to have my back, and I wasn't aware of positive reviews. Thought it was just to drive traffic to the actual special. Cool? The owner responds, "We didn't ask people to leave positive reviews." When the email clearly states, "Leave the kind of review Brendan Schaub deserves, you will receive a one-time coupon for 50% off your entire order." After this whole review debacle and Brendan's repeated breach of contract, they decided to cut ties, and Brendan gave back his 10% ownership in the company and signed a 24-month non-compete so that he didn't go out and promote any of their competitors. But Brendan would immediately breach this contract as well and started promoting other CBD companies. And here's where those Russian oligarchs I told you about get involved. While Brendan and the owner still had a good relationship, Brady would confide in Brendan about troubles he was having with Russian investors in his company. When Brady learned of their affiliations with the KGB, he sought to distance himself from them and was working on getting a loan to pay back the $1.6 million he owed. When he let the Russians know of his plans to separate, they went behind his back and started conspiring with other board members to have him ousted from the company. So after Brendan and the owner had their falling out, and Brendan gave back his 10% equity in the business, Brady claims that Brendan was given $100,000 by the Russians to falsely assert that he still held a 10% stake in the company, so that Brady would no longer be a majority shareholder and therefore would not have control over the business. After allegedly signing a false declaration of ownership and casting a vote to oust Brady in a hostile takeover, Brendan would initially agree to sign an affidavit admitting to the conspiracy in exchange for a full release of liability. Brendan asked for the affidavit to be rewritten to exclude the name of Pavel Cherkashkin, due to his international affiliations. This is the Russian investor in question, who founded a tech startup in a San Francisco church and equates startup culture to a religious experience and sought to build an IRS-approved, government-recognized tech religion. Schaub was hesitant to sign the affidavit because he thought it would function as an admission of guilt should anything further come of this, and eventually refused to sign after one of the board members convinced him to cut off contact completely from Brady. And this couldn't have come at a worse time for Schaub, with his recent move to Austin leaving him severely depressed.
You going through a tough time? And I was like, I just moved to Austin, man. Yeah, I'm trying to find my way. I'm heartbroken about LA. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, Texas is great, man. Best decision I ever made. He goes, but you should know it's no LA. Because you're going to miss, there's no replacing LA. And I was like, oh, how long did it take you to get like, back in routine and feeling comfortable? It was 3 years. I went, what? He goes, yeah, tough 3 years.
And his relationship with Callan straining more by the day.
He don't know where Brian lives? So has Brian been on the lake with you guys?
Brian hasn't been on the podcast.
Dude.
And with all of his other endeavors being complete failures.
Stop moving. Second life for this bad boy. Rescue. Usually this takes about 20 minutes, but with you, it took us 3 hours.
Some people are speculating that this might actually be the end for Schaub. I find it funny that he was just bragging about his ownership in this CBD company the other day.
Where the podcast that's your main business. And the pieces that come around the podcast.
Yes and no. I don't have my eggs all in one basket. The podcast is a good rev stream, but then I own several other businesses.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Drive Fast All Gas,
right.
The giveaways, and the brands with that, the merch with that. I have a supplement company.
Yeah,
I'm involved in several other brands where I have equity. So I'm part of the board with them. So
got it.
I just
Very
have a million
cool.
Things. So it's not all just predicated on podcasting.
Yeah.
The Mustang you guys gave away, that was sick.
Trying to cope about the fact that his podcast doesn't make any money anymore. What do you guys think? Is this the end? Or is his dad's endless cash flow just gonna keep him propped up until the end of time? If you want me to make a video on Brendan Schaub's family history like I did Theo or Tom Segura, let me know down in the comments. It's pretty interesting. He's definitely lied about his childhood equally as much as anyone else we've already talked about. And I don't think I've seen anyone go into extreme detail about his upbringing. You hear people allude to the fact that his father pays his bills a lot, but nobody really lays out how he makes all his money, and Brendan certainly isn't being straightforward about it. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, please subscribe, hit the bell. More content coming very soon.